Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, a bunch of After Dark events announced for the first half of 2024. Haunted Mansion is getting an extended refurbishment.
New 2024 merchandise, Disney Visa card hotel discounts, H2O products are returning. We talk getting into the holiday spirit and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard the DL Weekly podcast. Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding. If this is your first time listening, we hope you'll check out our website at DLWeekly.net. If you have more time to spend, becoming an official weekly tier at DLWeekly.net/support is an especially good value. Thanks for traveling with us today, and we hope you have a happy and memorable listen to this week's episode.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of December 13th, 2023. I'm Teresa Urban.
And I'm Tage Bushman. We'd like to send a thank you to all of the current weekly tiers, including Dylan H., Laura R., Amanda S., and Alex B. for supporting the show. Without your support, DL Weekly would not be possible. Your support ensures that the podcast will continue and that we can make it to the parks more often to bring you the latest news and information direct from the parks. Speaking of which, we will be in the parks this coming weekend, and that is all because of you guys. If you'd like to become an official weekly tier yourself, head on over to dlweekly.net/support to sign up.
Well, speaking of us taking a trip to Disneyland this weekend, our next trip to the park is this weekend, and we are hosting a weekly tier meetup. Please join us as well as other weekly tiers on Saturday, December 16th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. over at the new stage area over on the west end of downtown Disney. So this is the side that they're working on. So it's the side down by the Disneyland Hotel. What else is down there? The Star Wars Trading Post. But yeah, it's where like Din Tai Fung's going to be and all the new eateries and fun. They've got the stage area open and there's going to be some holiday performances going on. We're really excited.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Well, it is that time again for our friend Eric over at Concierge to catch us up on other Disney news.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric Johnson with Concierge, and welcome to the D180. While Tage and Teresa cover all things Disneyland, in the D180 we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds. Let's jump right in. We start our adventure this week back in Germany at the Meyerwerft shipyard. The construction of the Disney Treasure hit another milestone this week as the fore and aft funnels are now in place. The newest ship in the Disney fleet finally has the iconic look of those red towers. These funnels evoke the look of classic cruise ships of the past, but they serve a different purpose than just exhaust. The forward funnel will be home to a 2-level suite and an attraction. The Tomorrow Tower suite will be decorated with themes evoking classic Epcot and will likely cost more than a few very pretty pennies. Elsewhere in the funnel, cruisers will careen through the Aqua Mouse water coaster. The version on the Treasure will come with a different Mickey Mouse cartoon, differentiating it from the version on the Disney Wish. Now that I think about it, most people will interact with the forward funnel to watch movies. The Funnel Vision screen brings classic and modern Disney movies to the high seas. Hang out by the family pool and catch a few flicks. Lest we forget, the newest Disney cruise ship will also host 3 bars themed to the Jungle Cruise, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and the Haunted Mansion, respectively. Disney also announced a new Moana stage show they're developing for the ship. Everything you like about the Disney Cruise Line is waiting for you on the new Treasure. I've talked about the Disney Treasure a few times here, partially because it's so exciting to see this much progress in less than 1 year. The ship is set to sail for its maiden voyage at the end of next year, after all. I also bring up the Disney Cruise Line because it's one of Disney's highest-rated vacation options. Cruise Critic just rated both the Disney Cruise Line and Adventures by Disney as their top picks for families for both river and oceanic cruises. Imagine all of the things you like about Disney parks and add an even more personal service. Disney cruises deliver amazing experiences all year round. With the end of 2023 fast approaching, I wanted to extend well wishes from everybody at Concierge to you, the savviest of Disney podcast listeners. Thank you for not always hitting that skip forward button 6-ish times. I love hijacking the sweep spot and DL Weekly for a few minutes every other week, and I hope you don't mind that too much yourselves. From the Concierge team to all of you, we wish you the happiest of holiday seasons. May all your Disney dreams come true in the new year. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the rest of the Disney universe. If you'd like to learn more about these Disney adventures or just have a few questions, please come on over. Visit the social media and websites of both DL Weekly and us, their official travel planners, concierges. We look forward to planning something special for you and yours. I'm Eric Johnson, and this has been your D180.
Thanks, Eric.
Now let's get to the news.
Well, Disneyland announced a plethora of After Dark nights for 2024. 8 nights of Sweethearts Night in late January and early February. A new Disney Channel night has 2 dates on March 5th and 7th. 8 Star Wars nights from mid-April to early May. And Pride Night with 2 dates in June. Tickets go on sale to the general public on December 14th, no earlier than 9 a.m. Pacific time. Tickets for Disney Channel night and Sweethearts Night start at $139 per ticket.
This is just still so wild to me. This is new for Disney, right? Disneyland doesn't usually announce, hey, this is the entire next year worth of things that we are planning and what dates are going to be and all that stuff. I'm talking about last week when they posted, like, these are when Food and Wine Festival will be. You know, like, this is when the holiday time will be. This is when Halloween festivities are going. You know, that, like, I thought that was great. And then it was like a double punch, because then we also got all, like, every After Dark night except for Oogie Boogie Bash was announced with dates. And yeah, tickets are already on sale if you're a Magic Key holder for the first 2 events, which Tag said was the Sweethearts Night as well as the Disney Channel night. So I already know that there's some weekly tiers in the chat that were really excited about these and have already snagged their tickets for these. But it's just wild to me, because it's been less than a week since they've announced these, and we already have weekly tiers with tickets in hands. Like, that's right. That's awesome.
I was wondering, so we know Sweethearts Night has been a thing. It seems to be very popular because they have added a ton of dates for it.
Tons of dates.
Disney Channel night, I was kind of curious what that meant. I know there are a lot of fans of Disney Channel stuff out there. So they're going to have a High School Musical pep rally that's going to take place on the streets of Disneyland Park with songs from the High School Musical franchise. There's Phineas and Ferb.
Yep. With a dance party, Camp Rock karaoke. How fun. The Descendants will be over at the Rivers of America. Ooh, and they're going to invite you to take a cruise on the sailing ship Columbia to then enjoy musics from the trilogy as well.
Opportunities to step into the photo backdrops representing favorite shows like Lizzie McGuire, Cheetah Girls, Teen Beach Movie, and more. And, of course, as always, special theme moods.
But they're talking about some of the things. They're already giving you sneak peeks and teases about what some of the food items are going to be for. So this is, again, for Disney Channel night, mini banana burritos and tropical banana punch at the Red Rose Tavern. I love it. Chili cheese loaded nachos, s'mores donut skewers over at Cafe Daisy. Now I'm going to have to go back up and look at the Sweethearts Night stuff. So Sweethearts Night has a royal cavalcade over by It's a Small World. There's going to be a dance that you can dance along with princes and princesses and different Disney characters at the Royal Ball.
Stitch and Angel host their own dance party in Tomorrowland. Throughout the park, photo backdrops with some Disney iconic scenes of love and friendship, including Lady and the Tramp, Tangled, Sleeping Beauty, Aladdin, and more.
So different foods, of course, but the ones that they're teasing are a shortbread cookie churro with strawberry cheesecake dipping sauce over at Cafe Daisy. There's going to be fried heart-shaped ravioli. Fun. Plus some returning and reimagined favorites. Like the Jolly Holiday Bakery chocolate and strawberry stuffed croissant.
Yeah, they got some good stuff going on here. Again, you know, they have a ton of dates for Star Wars night from mid-April through the beginning part of May. Does not fall on May the 4th this year.
Star Wars night offerings, like nights offerings, doubled. It was 4 nights last year and 8 nights this year.
Yeah. And then, of course, a couple nights of Pride Night, which I'm glad that they brought back from last year.
That also doubled because it was 1 night last year, and now it is 2. I still think it should have been more than 2 because it was wildly popular last year.
So I think of these things, I mean, I want to give Star Wars Night another chance at some point. I don't think it's going to be this year, but Pride Night I'm excited for because I heard really good things about Pride Night from last year.
I'm going to have to rewatch. I watched a couple of videos. Ordinary Adventures, of course. I watched their video on it, and it looked like a fun time. But when they re-announced it, I was trying to remember what all the things were, because I watch lots of different videos and live vicariously through others in all of the different After Dark nights that I'm not able to attend and experience myself. So now I'm trying to I have to go back and refresh my memory what fun cool thing I'm trying to remember what characters there were for the meet and greets. I just remember it looking like the lighting looked gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
all these
how
After
excited
Dark
and happy everybody was.
nights are fine. Just I think we had an unfortunate set of circumstances for After Dark Night for Star Wars.
I'm going to say I think we started wrong. I think doing Oogie Boogie Bash as our first ever After Dark or party night was maybe in hindsight, we started with the best
Didn't you do
one.
a Pixar After Dark thing or after party or something?
Nope. There was a Pixar night, but Vern and I just were there for Pixar Fest. We didn't do the after hours party. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So my first ever thing was Oogie Boogie Bash. So I was thinking everything was going to be that same level.
Sure.
And it just isn't.
And I think our Star Wars night would have been different if it wasn't misting.
Yes.
I think that caused a lot of problems.
And I think going on May the 4th may also have been a mistake.
Sure.
We thought it would be so cool, but I think a lot of other people thought it was really going to be really cool too. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it was still a good time. Just not quite what we were expecting.
Sure.
Well, Haunted Mansion lovers like myself, note January 21st on your calendars. This is the last day that the Haunted Mansion, still in its holiday form, will be open for guests. After this date, it will start a lengthy refurbishment that will include the new extended queue work, an updated entrance and gift shop, plus a new elevator. No date has been released on when this work will be completed, but online rumors state that it won't be open again until Haunted Mansion Holiday next year.
Yeah. We kind of, I won't say we, I kind of forgot about the extended queue there for a little bit. And I knew that it was going to happen. I just, it obviously makes sense when they're going to close it for Haunted Mansion Holiday tear down anyway. Mm-hmm. Might as well just leave it closed, get this project out of the way instead of reopening and then closing it later in the year or something like that. So I think this will be good. And I'm excited for these changes.
See, now the one thing that really surprises me on this, and I should say, we have sources that say that, this is from Disney. However, Disney hasn't officially released a statement that we have found. But multiple sources are saying that from Disney, it's when it closes in January, it's going to go through this lengthy period. But I'm just surprised because think of what that corner of the park is going to be really sad for a while, because you still have Tiana's Bayou Adventure under construction, and that's not going to be opening until later 2024. So I almost was thinking that they would wait on redoing the Haunted Mansion until that was done, unless they need to, right? Because the Haunted Mansion butts up to the old Splash Mountain queuing area. So unless there's some reason that they need to be doing working on both of those things at the same time, since they do sit next to each other, it's just interesting to me because that's taking away a lot from that corner of the park. No one's going to remember that Winnie the Pooh and all of his friends are back there because they're going to be on their own little lost island.
Hey, it's on the way to Star Wars.
Poor Pooh. Yeah, if you go that way though, yeah. I don't know if I would necessarily go that route because that's just a long stretch of.
Did you watch that whole thing that David from Fresh Bake did that proved that the best way to go get in the line for Rise in the morning is not that way, but to go through the middle Fantasyland entrance?
I did not see that.
Oh, because he did all these timings for a month or something. He randomly did all different times of the day, all different, before the parade, after the parade. He's doing this now. Actually, it's kind of an interesting thing that he's doing. But he decided to do the first one with Rise. So he timed every time he was in the queue for Rise, he timed it, like I said, after a parade, before close, right at opening, right after it came back from being down, etc. Yeah. And they said that for the morning, people think that going around the Rivers of America and going, because the queue kind of is right there.
Where you start the queue.
But he said that what happens is it actually ends up looping back and going into the land. So you actually end up coming and ending up at the end of the line more directly if you come in that Frontierland entrance.
Sure. Yeah.
Than if you go, because then you're also going around the river and like it takes long. So he said, actually, your best bet is to go through that, and that's the quicker way to get there. So maybe people will do that, and then Pooh really will get lost.
That's what I'm
back
saying.
there.
I think Winnie the Pooh's going to get lost. Pooh's
Poor
Corner is going to be lost
Poor Winnie
too.
the Pooh.
I mean, if you need a quiet corner of the park, that's the place to head.
But then think about how busy it's going to be back there after.
Oh,
Once
yes.
Tiana's Bayou
Yes.
Adventure opens, once Haunted Mansion's back open, like that's going to be a kicking
Yes.
part of the
Yes.
land again.
I am curious, though, with this going on, if it's going to be down the entire time that they're working on the exterior queue. I understand it needing to be down for them to put the ADA elevator
Sure.
in. But I could see them maybe opening the attraction back up once that's installed and just maybe rerouting the queue a little bit for them to still be able to have the attraction going while the exterior queue work's being done. Maybe
Sure.
not, because I guess depends on how they can snake and wiggle people around to get them in a queue and not be in, because you'd almost have to not go to the side at all of the queue. Like you wouldn't be going past the pet cemetery and back. You'd almost have to have the queue mainly outside of the attraction and just have them go right in the front door.
Which
Does
we
that
know
make
is
sense?
already going to be chaotic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, I
I don't know if
think
that'd
you're going to
work
have
or
to you're going to have to train cast members again, like how the new queuing works.
Yeah.
So I think it's best just to have it down
It'll be-
and get it done, and maybe they could get it done faster than trying to like work guests around it.
Yeah, maybe. It'll be interesting to see how long it's down.
What do you think? Do you think it's going to be down until the next Haunted Mansion holiday? Because
I mean,
that's
I
going to
don't
come up
know.
sooner than we think this time too.
That's true, because it's August now. Yeah, that's true. It'll be interesting. But like I said, I'm still just surprised that those two neighboring attractions, popular attractions, are both going to be down at the same time.
Yeah, because I don't think
It's just gonna be
Tiana
really
is going to
interesting.
open until the very end of next year.
Yeah, if not early 2025.
Right. Well, guests can meet Santa Claus at the Disneyland Hotel. There is a cute setup that has a nice big blue chair for Santa and 2 chairs made out of giant ornaments flanking each side. Santa will be frequently making appearances between 3:30 to 8 p.m. with story time at 5 p.m.
I think this is so cute. So not only can you meet Santa in Disneyland, in DCA, or I think he's also at the Grand Californian as well as the Disneyland Hotel.
He is. We actually had a weekly tier to have a picture of
Yeah.
Santa in the Grand
That guy
Californian.
gets around. But you can have, like, how cute. Story time with Santa. I think that's adorable.
I wonder what stories
perfect.
he's going to tell.
Maybe the night before Christmas. Santa's version.
Or Rudolph, or I mean, there's lots of stories.
There's lots of fun ones, but I think this is so fun, especially if you have a little one that maybe really wants to meet Santa, but is also maybe a little scared of sitting on Santa's lap and having to talk to Santa and tell them what the list is.
But
So I
having
think
like a
this
nice story is
yeah,
a approachable way.
Yeah, I think that's very fun. Maybe they'll have milk and cookies too. Maybe.
You just triggered something for me that I think
Good
is,
or bad?
no, it's good.
Okay.
It's something that I think I just want to mention on the podcast really quick. So on Instagram, I for some reason, I mean, I know why. I have a lot of Disney things that are surfaced to me on Instagram. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. But there is a teenager who has like autism, and he wears like the headphones, and he's Thomas is his name. And I went down this weird rabbit hole the other night of his page on Instagram of him interacting with all of the characters.
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
It's so sweet. Yeah.
They all know him.
I know. He's
And-
he's like a celebrity of Disneyland in and of itself. Because, yeah, all the characters know him and, like, say hi to him. And I'm like, that's so cool.
But
that the
they're so
characters
good
know
because
name.
his particular thing is like he wants to feel things. So they all put their hands out
Yeah.
like they know. And I was telling James,
It's
I
so
said,
heartwarming.
I think this is amazing. I'm wondering, like, there's a couple things I'm wondering. One, as part of training, do you get told like there's going to
do
be
they learn
guests that
those
this,
things?
yeah. And because Thomas is around so often, is it like, oh, you probably are going to encounter Thomas at some point, and Thomas is like this, and there's probably others, right, that like are frequent enough. You have to imagine like getting trained at Radiator Springs. You get talked to about the guy has the thing that he's ridden it 20,000 times or 100,000 times or whatever it is. So I'm just I don't know. There's a lot of like curiosity there, but I just wanted to mention on the show how impressed I am, because I don't think about those things, but like channels like this and stuff on Instagram show just how great character interactions are at the parks. And to be fair, He also has some where he's interacting with people at Universal, and they also do a really good job. So I was very impressed. He even had an interaction with the Grinch. Apparently the Grinch is a big thing at Universal to interact. He's kind of like Cruella and is kind of mean a little bit. But even he did really well with this. I don't know. I forget sometimes being an adult who doesn't go see the characters often, how great the characters are at the parks. And I just wanted to kind of mention it because I feel like we don't talk about them as much, or I know I don't talk about them as much. So
yeah, no, the videos, I've seen the videos with Thomas too, and they're so sweet. They just always bring a smile to my face.
Shout out to the cast members again, as always.
A new year is coming, and that means a new design for the yearly merchandise at the resort. As is common on this merchandise line, the colors are bright and colorful and feature the 2024 iconography. From beach towels to baseballs to apparel and everything in between, there is a version with the 2024 design available. Do you know what this theme, I guess, that they're going with for 2024 reminds me of?
Oh, what?
The 90s. I don't know why, but it screams the 90s to me. I think it's the choice in the colors and the font. But yes, this feels like there was even something, I don't remember what it was, but it was the packaging of the item. It was like the cardboard packaging, and that looked to me like you just bought it for, it came out of a time capsule or something.
Was it this?
No, not the soap dispenser. It was something else. The straws, and the fact that they're the fun, crazy straws that are different. This looks like it came straight out of the 90s to me, or maybe late 80s.
It does look like late 80s or 90s. If you told me that this was
vintage or
80s
something,
or 90s night at Disneyland,
which that seems
boom.
That sounds crazy to say 80s and 90s stuff is quote unquote vintage now. But yeah, it looks like
we've started to hit that age, Teresa.
I know, but it looks like it's straight out of the 90s.
I think this is cool. Okay, I'll be honest with you, and we've probably had this conversation on the podcast before. In general, I do not like the designs of any of the dated merchandise. I usually think it's for me, it's just not a style that I like. Mm-hmm. And so when I've seen it in the park, I'm like, I really would like to have some merchandise that has the year, but I just don't like the design. Now, the one piece of all of this that I did enjoy was they have this shirt. Of course, it's a kids. Youth size. Mm-hmm. But the 2024 looks like Donald and Minnie and Pluto and Goofy. Each number looks like their color scheme. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was so cool. And Disney's done it again. They pick a great design that I love, and it's only in youth. So apparently I'm all about the youth stuff. But they have a wide variety. There's little trucks. There's a calendar.
That truck looks big.
Well, yeah. But I'm saying a toy truck. There's, of course, pins.
All sorts of stuff.
There's just a ton of stuff and ornaments.
Ornaments already? Yeah.
Well, light up ornament. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of wish, of course, a Starbucks tumbler. I just wish that they would pick a design of something that spoke to me more. But apparently this speaks to somebody because they come out with new stuff every year.
I feel like we need to go back and listen to some of our older episodes because I remember you talking about this. I'm not going to say you talk about this every year. I don't. That's probably not fair. I
probably do talk about it every year.
I thought that there was one year that you kind of said, I usually don't like this stuff, but this one, there was one that actually caught your interest. Now, we've been doing DL Weekly since 2017, so there's been quite a few different versions of the year dated merchandise lines that have come out since we started the podcast, but I feel like there was one that maybe did catch
and
your
I know
eye.
You don't like anything with the year on it for some reason.
Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Depends on what it is.
But you don't like to buy stuff with the year on it.
I don't I wouldn't get just a general Disneyland shirt with the year on it because we go to Disneyland so frequently and we're very fortunate to be able to do that. But I do like getting maybe dated, I have the Oogie Boogie Bash t-shirt from the first year.
Sure.
So there are, and D23, the first D23 we went to, I got a t-shirt that had the 2019 date on it. It's not a hard no for me. It's just certain things.
Sure. Disney Visa card holders have a new discount for stays at Disneyland Resort hotels in the first few months of 2024. From January 15th through March 7th, card holders can get up to 20% off on stays from Sunday through Thursday nights. A second offer allows card holders to save up to 25% on select stays of 4 nights or longer consecutively at the Grand Californian, Disneyland Hotel, or villas at the Disneyland Hotel between same time frame, January 15th through March 7th.
Can I tell everyone a secret?
Uh-oh.
You don't have to remember what these dates are. You can just remember generically what they are. Of course, we're going to have the link in the show notes, though, if you need to know exactly what the dates are. But if you contact our friends over at Concierge, they can hook you up and help you take advantage of this amazing deal. And they can even do the not as fun stuff like make all your park reservations for you if you get your tickets with them, too. So don't forget to shout out and let Concierge know that you would love for them to help you plan your next vacation, because they're amazing and their services are completely you don't pay additional for their services, which is awesome. Let them know DL Weekly sent you too. The Disney Parks YouTube channel posted a new video tour of the renovated rooms of the Pixar Place Hotel. The rooms are bright and colorful and have a similar look and feel to the villas at the Disneyland Hotel. The rooms are filled with all sorts of little Pixar touches and artwork. The hotel officially launches on January 30th, 2024.
Okay, can I say something that you're going to probably think is weird?
I mean, I feel like you're going to say it anyways.
I mean,
but go on.
It's not weird necessarily. What I thought when I looked at this,
okay,
and I know that and this is not an ad for them, but I feel like these rooms give me Hojo vibes. Like the bedding looks similar.
No, it's a similar vibe.
The artwork, I know it's not the same artwork, but that kind of and the bathroom looks very much like the Hojo.
I see what you're saying.
So I was like, this makes me feel good that this really nice looking new hotel looks like the place that we love staying and costs a fraction of the price. But you're not in the Disney bubble. I understand. But I like it.
Yeah. So to me, and I mean, this is a whole big can of worms we're not going to get into. To me, staying on property at Disneyland is not necessarily something I feel like I need to do. I feel like it was a perfect thing to do when we were there for my wedding. I feel
it's a special occasion.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of a special occasion thing and not something I need to stay on. I don't feel like I'm missing out if I don't stay on property when I'm at Disneyland. Walt Disney World, I feel differently. I feel like I am missing out if I'm not staying on property at Walt Disney World. However,
it's also more convenient at Disney World.
Yeah. However, the rooms, these rooms, the designs that they're coming out with is making me feel like I'm missing out, which I'm sure is their intention, but they're so fun. I love there's this huge mural behind the 2 beds in the room that they're showing in this video. Of course, links in the show notes. Gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's like the entire wall space. The rest of the room is very clean looking. It's very crisp. You've got pops of color. You've got a red couch. You've got a blue carpet. The bedding, like Tag mentioned, is white. They do have the Pixar ball in the sheets, much like what they do on the cruise ships, where it's a white on white. It's just how they did the stitching or whatever. But beautiful. This looks gorgeous. I would love to I would be over the moon to stay here. And I've never felt that way when it was the Paradise. I never had a big feeling that I needed to stay at the Paradise Pier Hotel. So
from somebody who stayed at the Paradise Pier, I know it's been 21 or 2 years since this happened. So obviously it's been a long time.
It's changed.
We stayed one night in it, my friend and I, and it was just felt like a hotel. The view was amazing. For somebody who's nerdy like me that wants to see inside of a Disney park when it's closed, we were up on, I think, the 7th or 8th floor, and it was amazing because I watched all the people wander around in the park. I watched them go through. I saw their little work lights. It was a dream come true for me, but I still, I don't know. The same thing I tell Eric from Concierge, and we talk about on the hub crawl all the time, is, like you said, I don't feel like at Disneyland, the premium price that you pay to stay there, the rooms are very nice, but they're not hundreds of dollars more a night better. Even with a discount, they're not that cheap.
I'm just picking a random weekend in April because I'm curious. I don't know what the cost for the new hotel is. So I'm just doing check in on a Friday, check out on a Monday kind of a thing. And just for
I told you.
Wow. Okay, so for my random weekend in April, it's the first weekend in April if anybody's curious, the standard view rooms are $504. Oof, I was not thinking that it was going to be that high.
I feel like every Disney hotel at Disneyland is at least $450 a night, like for like a not great view room, potentially, whatever. Right there, that's like the available.
Yeah.
So 504.
So in my random search for the first weekend in April, the Pixar Place Hotel will be the least expensive at $504.50 a night. The Disneyland Hotel comes in second at $554.50 a night, and the Grand Californian is $825 a night. So this is why I personally don't feel like I need to, like, it's a need for me during every trip, because it is expensive. That's a couple of nights if you're staying across the street with a little bit longer of a walk. But man, I tell you, I need the Imagineers that are designing these hotels, the two most recent hotels, the villas, and now this. I would love for them to just come into my home and do some decorating for me, because I love it.
I think you just need to find like some. I mean, a lot of this is not hard to do. The hard thing is that you need to find like
The
large
artwork.
graphics for the wall and stuff like that, which you could get, I'm sure.
I mean, even in the details, they talk about this in the video. They do a close-up on the blue carpet, and it's got the Luxo lamp in it. And actually, that carpet design is at Pixar. And they like
it's in the elevator grates, and I was like, that's
okay.
interesting.
That's fine. But it's at Pixar, like the Pixar campus, and now it's also in the Pixar Place Hotel. I thought that was so cool.
I mean, it's cool. They do have a lot of attention to detail, and I think the designers are doing a really good job now. I know that there are people that are upset at Disney World because some of the stuff that they're reimagining in Disney World is taking away some of the more immersive theming and going a little more generic. Like right now, a lot of people are upset because the Grand Floridian is going under a renovation right now, and they're taking a lot of, from what I understand, they're taking a lot of the like Victorian theming out, which is like the whole point of the hotel.
And same thing because like
the Polynesian, they did a little bit of that too.
They did.
So
some of the rooms.
So I just hope that Disney keeps doing plussing. The thing is with Disneyland is the Disneyland hotels, because there's so much competition right there that's not Disney, they really need to up the game and make it something unique and special for people to spend the money to stay there. Speaking of staying at the hotels and plussing things and adding unique fun things, weekly tiers who have stayed at a Disney hotel before know that the great H2O products that are in the guest rooms. Well, Disney announced somewhere a little bit longer ago, that the H2O brand would be discontinued and no longer available for guests. Well, great news. I was very happy to hear this myself. Disney has acquired the rights to the formula for the H2O products and plans to produce the products under the Disney Resorts branding. Huzzah!
This makes so much sense. I don't think I will ever forget when we went to Walt Disney World fall 2020, and that was the first time you or I had ever tried the H2O products for ourselves.
They were good.
Tag fell in love and immediately bought like the entire kit. That was the souvenir, was the H2O products to bring home with him. Earlier this year, when Vern and I went on our cruise, the H2O products are also part of the cruise line. Basically, anywhere that you stay that's Disney owned will have the H2O products. But I remember thinking like, oh, wow, they still have them. Because like at that point, it felt like it had been a while since they had announced that that the H2O was no longer going to be making them. So I was surprised.
Disney obviously ordered like pallets and pallets.
They
of
must
these
have just ordered like gallons and gallons and gallons. So I think this makes so much sense. When H2O announced that they were going to be not doing this anymore, I genuinely was shocked, because I'm thinking
people are obsessed with this stuff.
Like Disney fans love that. Maybe it's just a Disney thing. I don't know. But like, just think of, even if all you're doing is supplying Disney like resorts and cruise lines, that's got it. I mean, that's a ton. I would have thought a ton of business. So I don't know the reasonings why they decided to not anymore. But I think it makes perfect sense that Disney has purchased the formula and will be creating these products to continue to be able to use them at their properties, and how like it makes it that much more special too, because now it's like specific. You know, it
You're
is
not going to
truly
find
Disney.
them anywhere else.
Yeah.
Your attention, please. DL Weekly Trivia is now leaving for a Grand Circle tour of the Magic Kingdom, with stops at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland. All weekly tiers for...
Hello and welcome to Trivia Land, our last visit for the new year before we go down for a refurbishment or something. I'm not exactly sure.
And when it reopens, we'll have Snack Chat Land open.
Yeah, the new neighbor.
Could you sound? You know, this reminds me of the trailer for the new Inside Out movie, where you're like, "Who's the new person who made the console orange?"
Hi, I'm Anxiety. I don't know if you're going to like me as much as Snack Zone or whatever it is in the future.
Exactly.
That's all right. It's like nostalgia. Trivia Land will always be great.
I also would like to say that producer Vern said that he looked at trivia and said tonight was going to be easy, and then James was like, "No, it's not," and Vern was like, "What? You should have just gone with it, James."
Maybe I should have.
All right, so what dastardly plan do you have for us this night?
Well, we're just going to see what I can lull you into with 4 questions I found on my own. We'll start easy,
Okay.
and then who knows? So your first question of the episode is, what is the longest running holiday parade at Disneyland?
Christmas Fantasy.
It has to be Christmas Fantasy. It's been around for like 1 billion years. I think the only parade that might have gone on longer is the electrical parade.
Counting every iteration? Very possible.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to question number 2. It's actually a cast member costume.
Oh.
Dang, I was
here we
hoping
go.
for a bonus question of when it began, because I have a guess.
Ooh, I could actually
The
let
dawn
you,
of time.
I could let
The
you
dawn
guess
of-
if you want to guess
Oh,
when
wait, no, I
Christmas
just-
Fantasy started. I actually know that one.
I thought you were so confident. Now you're
I
like
know.
thinking
Now
about
I
it.
just thought that I'm like, maybe that wasn't that long ago. I'm gonna say 95 sticks out in my head for some reason.
I'll say
Maybe
97.
it's like 85.
Maybe I'll say 97.
97.
I like how we just threw in a trivia
We
question
did.
for ourselves.
Why not? Yeah.
So I said 95 and you said 97.
Yeah, sure.
I thought you said 1 billion years.
Yeah, well, you know, for some of our listeners, it's probably before they were born, so...
That's true. That's true. I mean, if your guesses are right. Anyway, back to question 2, which is a cast member costume question. This costume has 2 versions. The feminine version includes flat black dress shoes, and then as you go up, there's a khaki business skirt, and the top is a full sleeve shirt that I would describe as like a steel blue color. There's a small brown belt around it, and it's all tied together with a decorative scarf that kind of reminds me of a bandana with leaves and stars on it. The masculine outfit also has black dress shoes, khaki pants, and then a denim blue button-up with an orange tie and a vest. I don't know how to describe the vest's like fabric type other than I feel like it's kind of like a wool. There's definitely a word that I can't remember, though.
An orange tie?
Orange tie. At least that's the one that I have seen. And have
What
a
was the
picture
top
of.
for the female?
It's like a
It's blue.
steel blue full sleeve shirt.
But no vest?
No vest.
What was there? They had
They have a
scarf.
small brown belt around the midsection, and there's a scarf bandana thing going on with some leaves and stars on it.
For some reason, I was thinking that for a minute, but I think I'm wrong, I was thinking, oh, is that the Animation Academy outfit?
Yeah, the blue.
Yeah, but I don't think that's it.
I was thinking Peter Pan for a bit because of the stars, but no, I think they look more like pirates.
I thought they just had the generic Fantasyland thing where they had the green pants
Oh,
with the
you're
white
right.
thing with like the flowers.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I always love that because when we ride like Snow White's Enchanted Wish and then a little later we get on Peter Pan, it's the same person that's waving us onto the ride
Yeah.
vehicle. I'm like, this is so neat that they're cross-trained all across Fantasyland.
Oh no, I'm thinking I was thinking of like the Jeepers Teresa. I was thinking of like the pirates get up, but like
For Pirates of the
yeah,
Caribbean.
but like I was thinking I'm sitting in the boat for Peter Pan, and that's what they. Anyways, okay. Stars.
Okay, can you help us a little bit, James?
I'm gonna say.
Can I ask my clarifying question?
Yeah.
Which park is it in?
No.
Wow.
Ooh.
Is no
Winnie the
saying
Pooh.
you're not going to tell me what park, or is no saying it's not in a park?
Read into it how you want.
Winnie the Pooh. I could see leaves and stars.
Yeah, but they have flannel.
Orange tie.
But they have flannel.
Is it the Grand Californian? I'm so thrown off by
Orange
this whole
tie. And you said like what was the blue color in the shirt?
thing. Steel.
Like a steel blue.
What do you mean by steel blue? Is that like a light blue, a dark blue?
Kind of
Gray
like
blue.
a darker, like moving towards like a teal turquoisey.
Oh, I would have said
Are
like
you
a gray
Googling
blue.
steel blue?
Yes.
Gray blue. I don't know. It's tough to say. So I'm gonna give you 5 more seconds. You've
Well,
had enough time to lull
wait a
it over.
second.
Okay,
I need answers.
Okay, this is steel blue.
Okay, so
I have no idea.
Disneyland Hotel,
Teresa.
because you're forcing me to pick something.
Yep.
Orange tie, though?
I don't
This is what
know.
I'm
I'm just-
so thrown off
It's
by.
either that or nothing. So I'm going to say Disneyland Hotel.
Teresa.
I'm thinking. I'm staring at
You're
steel
out
blue.
of time to think. I need a gut
I
instinct.
know. I'm going to stick with Winnie the Pooh because I don't know.
Winnie the Pooh has like a flannel.
Yeah, I don't. The orange tie makes sense to me for Winnie the Pooh.
This is where I break Teresa's heart and reminder that we've done Winnie the Pooh's cast member costume before.
Should have waited, James.
Moving on to cast question number 3. How many scuba divers does Disneyland employ? I'm looking for a range because obviously I don't have specific numbers. I found numbers dated to 2011 and 2017.
Well, they had that. They had that.
They had
Every
the day
role
in
is
the
starring
life.
role
Yeah.
thing.
No, yeah, the day in the life.
I'm gonna say 7. That's just the
I was
first
gonna
number that came to mind.
My guess was between 5 and 10, 5 to 10. No, there's probably not even 5. I'm gonna say 3.
3. I'm
You're
saying 7.
7 and 3. Got it. All right, moving on to our
And
last.
since you said a range, let's do like plus or minus like 2.
Absolutely. Plus or minus 2 sounds great.
Okay. That sounds like doesn't matter because both of you aren't in that range.
Correct. Question number 4. According to the LA Times in 2017, for the first 6 months of that year, what was the average wait time for the park's most popular rides? And no, I cannot distinguish what they mean by that, but read into it.
I'm sorry. Teresa was too busy clicking things on the internet.
Wow, that sounds like you when I'm giving answers.
I don't know why Teresa couldn't just wait for the answer.
I can't wait.
According to the LA Times in 2017, for the first 6 months of that year, what was the average wait time for the park's most popular rides? And no, I can't better distinguish what park's most popular rides means.
What year again?
2017.
17. Ooh.
So, okay, I know you're going to say you can't distinguish this, but like, I'm just trying to figure out, are they saying like the average of all of the popular rides together is this time?
Yes.
Okay.
For example, Space Mountain was the longest typical wait at just over an hour.
So we're looking at the average of the popular rides.
Average.
43 minutes. Although they did have Fast Pass then. Yeah, 43 minutes.
Teresa, what are you going with?
60.
60. Okay. All right, folks. How do you think they did? How you doing at home? I promised them a tough week to end the year. Let's see how they did. But first, let's enjoy talking about some holiday magic, Teresa.
Well, for this week's discussion topic, since we are going to the parks this weekend, I figured why not get into that holiday spirit a little earlier? Because I know it's harder for some humbugs than it is for others. But I'm very excited. I'm extra excited because, spoiler alert, Tag, we're still in Trivia Land.
Oh, Teresa wouldn't tell me what this was. She just said it was getting into the holiday spirit.
Yeah, I mean, we are. But backstory. My original thing was I was going to do a deep dive of Small World Holiday, which you think it celebrated its 25th anniversary last year. There's 25 years of history.
Wasn't it also the first holiday overlay at the park?
Guess what? It doesn't really have that much. Like, does it have history? Yes. Does it have like documented interesting history to make into a full-fledged deep dive? Sadly, no. So then I was thinking, the holidays at Disneyland. Surely there's plenty to go. Again, there years and years and years of holiday activities, but there's nothing that's really well put together that I was able to find to be able to do a good. It was like little bits and pieces kind of all over the place.
You would have had to work for a long time.
And none of them were kind of the sources that are more reputable sources.
Sure.
So then I was kind of getting into this weird ooey, like I'm not sure if this is 100%
we don't want to put out inaccurate
Yeah.
stuff.
So I was able to find quite a few fun little facts, nuggets, if you will. I'm not going to go, not pieces of coal. But instead of doing just a discussion topic on them, I thought, how fun would it be for us to kind of talk about these things in like another kind of trivia style to like get you into the holiday spirit a little bit more.
So,
and then
I feel attacked.
Once we
Humbug.
Once we wrap up with this, the other thing I thought we could use the rest of the time for is planning our 2 days, because we need to come up with our food list. I feel like attraction must-do list is not quite the same as it was last time round, but like foods and kind of last-minute planning type stuff.
Okay.
Without further ado, aren't you just so excited? So I'm going to start with...
The last time I went into my Apple Notes was my list of food. So that's funny. For the holidays.
For Halloween time, you mean?
No, this is because remember I was on that other podcast and I picked out food. So I already have a list of food.
You're already ahead of me.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
I'm usually the one who's ill prepared for the food stuff. So for once, I'm actually prepared for the food stuff.
So your first question is, when did, since this all started with It's a Small World holiday, when did It's a Small World holiday, just year, you don't have to give me the exact date, when did it open?
97.
Good job. You can do math.
Already
talked about.
I know you said the years, but I'm not that good at math. I was thinking, because part of me also thinks, like, for some reason, a lot of times in my mind, for some reason, 99 and 97 blend for some reason.
Well, there you go. Yep, 1997. So yeah.
What day did you have the day?
It opened November 25th, 1997.
That's kind of late, don't you think?
I mean,
compared to now.
Yeah, compared to now. Yeah.
I mean, Halloween starts in August now.
The interesting thing was it was actually so popular that they had planned for it to close January 4th, but it was popular, so they actually extended it out, and then it was open until January 25th.
Oh, wow. I will say, I like It's a Small World in general. I'm not one of those people, but I do really like It's a Small World holiday.
What are do you remember the songs that they interweave?
Yeah, It's a Small World song mixed with Jingle Bells and Deck the Halls. Yeah.
Deck the Halls, yep.
Yeah.
That's the...
Because I enjoy listening to the soundtrack from the Christmas version, because I like I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people that like doesn't get bothered by Christmas music playing everywhere, because I actually like Christmas music. So the fact that like It's a Small World has the regular It's a Small World, and then they blend it with Jingle Bells and Deck the Halls, I think they did a beautiful job with it, and I enjoy it. And I like hearing it in other languages too.
No, I think it was done really, really well. So kind of in that vein, we'll stick with attractions. Haunted Mansion Holiday, when did that first open? Year is fine.
Is that 2001?
It is 2001. Did you study for this quiz?
No, it just because for some reason the holiday overlays, I feel like I've talked to people about the holiday overlays a lot, and so those like years just stick in my head.
Yeah, October 3rd.
Plus, I also know it just celebrated like some type of milestone. I didn't remember which, and I was like, well, in the last couple of years, so it's probably, that sounds right. What?
That was weird logic. You're like, it celebrated some milestone, so it must have been.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, so it was either like 30 years or 20 years or whatever it was.
Sure.
What was it? 20 years. See, you're talking about, you give me credit for math, and then I'm like, what was that, 30 years?
And now for a bonus.
Oh, a bonus.
The gone but not forgotten Jingle Cruise.
That was only around for what, like a year or two?
It was not around long, so that's my question. When did it open and when did it close? Years. You don't need dates again.
Open 17, closed. Well, the question about when it closed is hard, because if it opened in 17, it technically that first year ended in 18.
Yeah.
So then if it did 2 years, it would technically open in 18 and close in 19. So I'm going to say Opened in 17, closed in 19.
Final answer.
Yes.
What
What
Wrong.
was it?
That was a really bad buzzer sound. Yeah, that was a really bad. Yeah. I don't know. No, it originally opened in 2013
Oh, wow. That's a long time ago.
and then closed in 2017, January of 17.
Okay, so it was longer than I thought it was around. Okay.
Yep.
Did we ever find out why that went away?
Did not. My guess is just they're
How many
already
things
doing.
can we close
Yeah, they're
to
already
put
doing
overlays on?
Well, just time, right? Just time.
Yeah.
Now, if you get these, I'm going to be like,
Shocked?
I was going to say impressed because that was a
Sure.
nicer thing to say. But can you tell me I feel like we've had this as a trivia question, so you may know this. Between the two trees, the DCA tree and the Disneyland tree, which one is taller?
I think the Disneyland tree is taller.
And okay, Disneyland's taller.
I think so.
And can you tell me?
Is that true?
Yes. And can you tell me what their heights are?
No.
Like how tall are they?
167 feet for Disneyland. I don't know.
So this is interesting. I'm getting this right from Disneyland. This is DisneylandNews.com, which is run by Disney.
Sure.
They're saying it's a 50-foot tall Christmas tree in DCA
Okay.
and a 60-foot tall Christmas tree on Main Street.
Okay.
They seem so much taller
They
than
do.
that.
But that's the forced perspective, right? I also heard that back in the day when it was a real tree, they had them anchored to the buildings there, like with guy wires. Guy wires, I think they're called. I think they're guy wires. Like, I thought they were guide wires, but I think they're guy wires. Seriously. And when that's why I'm just telling you, I think that's what it is, but whatever. Guy wire. I was right, because I remember thinking it was weird, because everybody thinks it's guide wire, but it's guy, like male. Anyway, but when they went to the artificial tree, they don't need those anymore.
Yeah.
And I thought that was actually an
Makes a lot of
improvement, because you
sense.
don't have to have the lines.
Oh, yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
I'm also really glad that they now have the garlands back up on Main Street, because for a few years with the taller parade floats, they couldn't have that.
So speaking of trees,
Okay.
how many ornaments and faux candles are there on the Disneyland tree?
See, I feel like we learned this
I'm sure
on our
we did.
holiday, whatever, but they spent so many numbers at us. How many ornaments? We had
many
this as a
ornaments?
trivia question too, I think. It's 60 feet tall. I don't know. 4,000.
So, according to this, it does not say, like, I guess I should have maybe been more specific. Because this says there's 1,800 Victorian-inspired ornaments and 100 oversized faux candles.
Okay.
So there's
So,
probably just like the,
1,900
like the
total.
ball, like the traditional like ball ornaments.
So that's
there
like a
too.
separate number, but it
That's
was not
probably
included?
a separate number, but not included. So maybe you're right. But
I don't know.
specifically,
Okay.
1,800 Victorian-inspired and 100 faux
I
candles.
think we learned this on the holiday tour thing.
How many lights?
Is that back this year, by the way?
Yeah. I believe it is, but I guess I don't know that for sure. We should double check that.
Yeah. Holiday
Yep.
time at the Disneyland Resort.
It is. That was a good tour. The one thing I wish I could have done was record it so I could re-listen to it. Not so that I would put it out for everyone to hear, but just
so you
like
could
for
remember.
myself so I could remember all of the facts. Because like you said, there was, one of the things I was really trying to remember and I've already forgotten, and it's been a year, was, remember she told us how hot the room needed to be for the candy makers to make the candy canes.
You should go back and listen to the podcast because we
I talked
about it.
Because I was just like flabbergasted that it was as hot. Like I want to say it was
like
120, 125
yeah.
or something
It was something
degrees
up there.
in the room. It was very warm. It made me
Props to those cast members for doing that.
Yeah, it made me appreciate my candy cane like that much more. Okay, last two questions for you. Sleeping Beauty's Winter Castle. How many more twinkling LED lights are there on the sparkling icicles and snow-capped turrets?
What are you asking?
Lights. How many lights?
How many lights are on there?
I'll say it not as fancy. How many lights are on the castle?
6,000.
25,000.
Yeah.
According to this.
I always underestimate because, I was trying to think of, if you buy a strand of 100 for your tree, that will do like a normal 6-foot tree. So
I put way more lights on my tree.
Okay,
my little Halloween. So for all of you weekly tiers, I actually haven't even shared this with the Discord chat yet. I purchased a small black Christmas tree, and all of my Haunted Mansion ornaments and Nightmare Before Christmas ornaments now have their own dedicated tree.
They got purple lights.
And it's a tinsel tree, which this is the first time I've ever had a tinsel tree, which is...
What is
I'll
that?
have to show you. It's different. So instead of having like a branch that comes out that then has all sorts of little branches that you fan out, it's just one branch. I don't even know how to say it. Like, you only fold one thing down. You don't have to fold...
Sure.
It doesn't have things that click in and all that. I'll just show you. I'll show you.
Okay. I'm just saying, for listeners, what you mean by that. But
yeah,
okay.
so it's
you say
just,
tinsel, and I think
well, it's what it's made out
strands
of.
of
But then
tinsel.
also the build of the tree is slightly different. It's not as complex as the other trees, where each branch then has all sorts of
Sure.
could have little branches jutting out of it, kind of thing. This is
It's
just
not like a real tree.
Yeah, it's just one shiny thing that comes off the trunk. And that's all it is. Anyways, so that has that little thing has 2 strands of lights. It's a skinny tree, and it's 6 feet tall.
Yeah, but how many lights
200.
per strand?
So it's 100 on each strand.
That's 200 lights on that?
Yeah.
I feel like that's...
No, I know.
Doesn't seem like there's 200 lights on that. Okay, well, anyway, so the thought process there is I was like, okay, so if that's a couple hundred, and we're talking about the thing, I didn't want to go crazy, because I feel like a lot of times I overshoot on things, so I'm like, okay, bring it in.
I feel like with all these Disney things, you have to overshoot. It's always way more than I would have ever thought.
Didn't we learn on the holiday special of decorating the parks or whatever, that every year they just replace the Christmas lights for It's a Small World, the facade? They don't reuse the strands, they buy new strands every year. I still think it's interesting. But anyway.
Speaking of numbers, how many plants, holiday plants, so we're talking poinsettias, are placed and planted around the resort?
16,000.
25,000 again. See? Isn't that wild? And then last question, because it's going to roll into our second half of the discussion. How many seasonal food and beverage items can you find in downtown Disney?
Oh, downtown Disney. How many seasonal and food and beverage items? 200.
In downtown Disney.
Yeah, sure, 200.
15.
Okay. Well, see? Well, because I was thinking, I'm sure that there's, drinks and churros and there's
only a couple.
things.
There's only a couple items at each place, but 15.
So the one I decided to overshoot on was the wrong one to overshoot on.
That is okay. You did really well, though. The Festival of Holidays features more than 60 food and beverage items, so...
Okay.
There you go. Just Festival of Holidays. That's not DCA. That's, Festival of Holidays. So, fun little facts I found about the holidays at Disneyland that help get you into the holiday spirit.
Sure. I was just looking at my list because I was thinking.
You were distracted about food.
I had a list. No. I also had a list of holiday entertainment for DCA, and I was reminded that we have to spend 20 minutes of our trip seeing mostly kosher.
Oh, at least 20 minutes.
Because I really enjoy them.
So fun.
There was also, who moved?
Mostly kosher.
They moved?
Yep. They're over in the Hollywood backlot area. So where the Sanderson sisters, Minnie, Daisy.
Yeah.
They're well back there.
I also want to try to catch, because I don't think I've ever seen it, I'd like to catch World of Color Season of Light. Was it because...
We saw it last year.
Did we?
Mm-hmm. I mean, at least I did, because I have a million pictures of it.
Okay, well then maybe we did see it. Anyway, okay.
So what are some of the food items that you're excited about?
I have quite the list here. So the...
Are these all on your must-try list? Are we going to have to try and figure
this is stuff that sounds interesting, but I can whittle it down a little bit. I really want to try at Bengal Barbecue the Jingle Julep.
Yes.
Because it's a frozen white hot chocolate cookie butter drizzle and a cocoa dust. It's cocoa dusted and finished with a pretzel rod, which I think is the weirdest thing about it, but sounds good.
Sweet and salty. It's oh yes. I don't know how, but I kind of forgot about that.
I also want to try the chocolate mint shortcake at the Plaza Inn. which is chocolate mint sponge cake, cookie crumbles, whipped topping, and chocolate drizzle. At the Royal Street Veranda, I was excited because I haven't had a reason to go to the Royal Street Veranda for a while, and that used to be one of my favorite places to go at Disneyland. And they have a cookies and cream fritters, which are dusted with a chocolate cookie sugar and served with sweet cream cheese dipping sauce.
Look at this over at the Plaza Inn. I don't know how I feel like I missed this when we talked about the foodie guide earlier. They've got a chocolate mint shortcake. Chocolate mint sponge cake, cookie crumbles, whipped topping, and chocolate drizzle. Interesting.
Do you want to know my must try? Like, this has to go on the must try. Like, it's not getting removed from it's definitely on there. Is the peppermint patties.
Yes.
Mixture of fondant
100%.
sugar, powdered sugar, and peppermint flavoring dipped in dark chocolate. This is only available at the Candy Palace and the Candy Kitchen.
100%. 100%. See, this is my thought process. You can laugh at me all you'd like. My thought process is I am going to rope drop DCA to try and get a candy cane, because remember, I want to get one for my family. And so I will already be at the candy shop getting my candy cane, so I'm just going to pick up the peppermint patties while I'm there. Two things at once, you know?
I also want to try the caramel crispy churro shake, which is a caramel flavored shake, dulce de leche, crispy churro cereal, whipped cream, and chocolate garnish, chocolate garnish, not ganache, at Smoke Jumpers.
Do you have any savory items on your list?
I do, but not this next one. I have an almond churro, which is a churro rolled in cinnamon sugar, topped with almond butter, white icing, and roasted sliced almonds at Willie's Churros. Willie's Churros always has the fun stuff. And then here's my savory. I have the tacos, chipotle marinated shrimp tacos with pepper jack cheese served with Spanish rice and refried beans at the Paradise Garden Grill for Viva Navidad.
See, I think I might have to try over at Award Wieners this Hollywood beef dip sandwich.
I do love a good beef dip. What's on it?
Sliced roast beef on a toasted hoagie roll with fried pickles, provolone avocado spread.
Oh, you love fried
caramelized onion, and it's on the side tag, so don't panic. Jalapeno spiced au jus. So you don't need to.
But the problem is, I don't want to eat that sandwich without dipping it. Yeah, so I have a lot of sweet stuff on here.
I feel like this is something that I should have tried a while ago.
Okay.
But I really want to try and remember to try it this time. A Christmas tree cone from the Cozy Cone, because it's peppermint soft serve.
Speaking of Cozy Cone, at Cozy Cone 3, I do have the chicken pesto cone.
Okay, so what? Didn't you have that?
Yeah, but I like it.
Oh, but you like it. Okay. I thought that was a thing you said you had.
Which one is that there? Is that the...
That's the gingerbread shake over at Flo's. So for me, mine's... Okay, I was giving you a hard time.
Aren't you proud of me that I have like a nice list?
That is really good. Yours is mostly sweets. Well, mine's going to be a lot of cold brews. There's the over at the Red Rose Tavern. I really want to try the Mocha Peppermint Tavern Cold Brew. That sounds amazing. And then there's also a cold brew. I got to actually pull it up because it's not in the foodie guide. A new cold brew over at the Galactic Grill that I also want to try. They had a couple of like last minute additions, I'll say, to the foodie guide, it feels like, this year.
Okay.
There's a chocolate cinnamon comet cold brew.
And you're looking at the foodie guide?
At the foodie guide.
Okay, because I do have a link here of that. I want to pull it up.
Okay, listen to this. No, I'm not looking at the foodie guide right now. I'm looking at just the menu. Mobile ordering from there. So listen to this. You're gonna wish you were a
Where
coffee
is this?
Person. At the Galactic Grill.
Okay.
So the chocolate cinnamon comet cold brew is Joffrey's Coffee, of course, cold brew, hazelnut syrup, cinnamon chocolate cream foam, and a churro.
Like it includes a churro?
Like it includes, I mean, not an entire churro, but it looks
still,
like it's like half of a churro in the photo. Maybe it's not that generous when you actually order it, but I'm not getting it for the churro. If I was getting it I would just get a churro. But yeah, that just sounds so fun to me. So those are my two Disneyland cold brews that I'm really looking forward to trying. And then over in DCA,
it has a churro on it.
It has a churro. I mean, why not, right?
Oh my God. That is the most ridiculous looking thing, by the way.
I think you mean delicious. And then over in DCA at Smoke Jumpers, they just got a new churro. They just got a new cold brew.
I know you're excited about that one because it's right towards the front of the park.
I'm also excited. They've got a hibiscus blueberry agua fresca there too. That also just sounds really, really yummy. It's the Irish cream breakfast cold brew. And it's Bailey's Irish cream. Nope, not that one. Where's the... Oh, there it is. The breakfast cold brew. Found it. It's chocolate cold brew, toasted marshmallow foam, and cocoa crisp rice cereal. And then the other cold brew. So I've got my 4 cold brews picked out. The other one that I want to try is the one that the seasonal offering over at Pim.
So I have a question for you about these cold brews.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that the drink to ice ratio makes the price worth it for you? Or are you supposed to have that much ice in a cold brew?
So that's a good question. So like I got a coffee tonight after work, and that ice ratio to drink was horrible. Like I finished the drink and the cup was full to almost the lid with ice. That's way too much ice.
Okay.
Whereas to me, sometimes cold brews, depending on how they're brewed, the ice, yes, it's there to cool it down, but then also cold brews are kind of a more concentrated coffee than like an iced coffee is. So it doesn't hurt it if the ice is melting, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't get watered down quickly. Maybe like a soda would a soda would get watered down. It doesn't do that.
Okay.
I feel as fast as other things do, like soda, or even an iced coffee. Like if I get an iced coffee, say from McDonald's, the ice melting there waters the coffee down much faster.
I was just curious because I feel like sometimes at Disneyland, actually a lot of like restaurant stuff, they put so much ice in the cup that I'm like, I want to ask for like light ice on things, but I don't know how cold brew stuff works. So
yeah, no, you can ask. You can always ask for light ice, but yeah.
I will say like my favorite thing about the cold brews at Disneyland is the foam stuff that they put on it. Like the foam is kind of what makes it for me because I'm not a coffee person.
Sure. Apparently I'm going to be on a cinnamon cold brew kick because the cold brew at Pim is also cinnamon based. Cinnamon caramel cold brew with cardamom cream foam. But they all sound so good. They sound so different, but they all sound so good.
So you're going to be hyped up on caffeine.
2 per day. Tag. That's my limit. 2 per day.
So you can do 4.
That's terrible. Yeah. So I've got my 2 in Disneyland and my 2 in DCA.
So do you have what's your cutoff for coffee in a day? What time of day do you usually like, okay, I'm not going to do any more coffee?
It's hard to say. Disneyland's different than like a normal day. And I do it by feel. It's not like if I have a coffee too late, I'm never going to sleep.
No,
I just
do that. Wasn't that something similar to what they've had before? Bottom right of the photos there. Is it the hibiscus thing?
That's alcohol.
Oh.
A gingerbread mule, probably.
Oh, okay. Because it looked like that. It looks almost, except for it's the wrong color, it looks almost like your paradise that you really like.
I'm surprised you didn't put the caramel crispy churro shake from Smoke Jumpers on your list. You're like, excuse me, what?
No.
Or the...
Because what did I have at Smoke Jumpers? I had something.
Feast burrito, because it's a pork belly adobo fried rice burrito.
I have the caramel crispy churro shake.
There you go. I don't think we got to it yet.
I did. I mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
You were probably looking at something else.
I got excited about cold brews probably. This looks delicious, though. I think you need to put the feast burrito on there because it's got pork belly adobo fried rice.
Yeah.
Sweet chili dipping sauce. This looks
sounds like it's got to go on your list.
Dare I say it looks better than just the like pork belly that you get from the...
I will say visually appealing the pork belly thing, not very visually appealing, but man, it tastes good. What is that concoction? The red thing in the bottom
it's
right.
A watermelon. So it's this right
watermelon?
here, street style watermelon. Yeah.
Oh, they put like a sauce on it.
Yeah, like chili lime seasoning and chamoy.
I looked over at your screen and it looked like, because of the covering that's on, it's a red covering. It looked like something, it didn't look appealing.
I'm going to have to pay. Churros are going to have to be a game time decision for me because there's way too many. There are way too many themed
game
churros.
Time decision.
Yes. Yeah. What do you have on your festival of the holidays?
That was everything from everything. That
was it? I don't think you had a single thing from Festival of the Holidays.
I may not have, but that's what I did.
I'm surprised. See, I think we're gonna have to figure this out.
Because I don't think we have enough time to do all of that.
Well, you have no savory things. You're just eating sugar.
Well, there's other things at Disneyland that I could eat.
Well, yes, but We're trying new stuff. Remember, that's the whole thing with Snack Chat. We're trying to broaden our horizons.
Well, I thought the Snack Chat thing was that we were going to pick like a land and eat. We only have 2 days this trip. We only have 2 days this trip.
Food. So
I still really want to eat at Tiana's Palace.
Yes, we can do that. So my thoughts with Festival of Holidays. I'm on the fence. We're going to have to figure this out, but I'm on the fence if we're going to be having enough items to justify getting a Sip and Savor pass.
I don't think so.
Or not. But the things that I think would be worth trying, I'm only going to try new stuff. I don't want to do old stuff because we're limited time, right? Time crunch. There's a savory Kugel mac and cheese with herb breadcrumbs, sour cream, and chives. That sounds delicious to me. We need to try the impossible chorizo queso that's been there for years at this point,
but
that we've
never
tried. Yep. Those we need to try. Sorry, favorite things we got to skip over you because we love you, braised pork, Tag loves you, braised pork belly adobo, and I love you, churro toffee cold brew, but too short of a trip. Cutting you off. Over at Grandma's Recipes, there's a tamal de rice that I really want to try. So a tamale. I don't know. There's
some people. Okay, so I got to the bottom. I'm sorry, this is kind of off topic a little bit, but I got to the
chicken curry bites.
I got to the comment section of this Disney post, and people are like, "Where's the gluten-free options?"
Oh, yeah. This sounds good. This Togarashi chicken slider.
I just feel like, I don't know. There's things we still haven't eaten anything from San Francisco, and I know that that'll like be there.
The pierogies. We have to get the pierogies.
Oh my goodness. You know what's going to happen? We're going to get there and we're going to do the normal thing we do, and we're just going to jettison our plan and just get what we want.
Okay, well, I'm going to make a food plan for us.
I've got my holiday food list.
Your holiday
dessert
list.
You just have to remind whatever. You just have to remind there's so much on that list that I don't have room for the savory, so I'm just going to be hopped up on sugar the whole time.
You're just going to be sugared out and be in a sugar coma the entire 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the holidays. I do feel like sweets are very much part of the holidays. So.
Well, I mean, you're waiting in line for a candy cane.
I'm not going to be waiting that long for you to be eating all the sweets.
No. No, but you got to get our peppermint patties or whatever when you're in there.
Peppermint patties. I actually looked. I made a note. I'm going to do this again this year because I found it really interesting. For some reason, last year, our days in the parks, I notated every single thing we did each day, including I made a note as to when we got into the candy cane line to when we were out of the candy cane line and when I got the text for when we got the candy cane. We were in the candy cane line for 15 minutes last year.
Okay.
Isn't that wild?
So are you trying to compare it this year to last year?
No, I'm just curious, like if that was normal, if that was a fluke. But yeah,
I won't know.
Minutes.
I'm going to go off and do something else.
I should have notated how long it took us the first time we got the candy cane in Disneyland versus DCA. I do think it's a more popular item to get in Disneyland than DCA.
Now I have a dumb question for you.
And it's the same exact candy cane.
Might have even mentioned this and I was spacing out. Is Smoke Jumpers have the new breakfast?
Yes.
Okay.
Smoke Jumpers is the one that has the breakfast. That's where my new cold brew is.
Okay. Because I was just thinking, like, I like to eat in the morning. So I'm trying to think, like, is there something at Smoke Jumpers for breakfast that I could get while you're in line for a candy cane? And I could get you your cold brew while you're...
Oh, you do that for me?
Well, I figure I got to do something nice for you while you're standing in the candy cane line. So people don't think I'm just the Grinch leaving Teresa in the candy cane line.
No.
Your family's going to be around, though, right? Like, they might hang out in the candy cane line with you.
They might hang out in the candy cane line.
Do they have plans to get a candy cane?
They might be. They don't know. I have not told them about the candy canes.
Are you just going to get... Well, they listen, so maybe I shouldn't say anything about it.
They'll be fine. I'm going to get the candy cane and share it with them. And I don't want to say surprise them, but I don't want them to feel like they need to waste valuable morning rope drop time to hang out in the candy cane line if they don't want to hang out in the candy cane line.
They're retired. They can go to Disneyland whenever they want.
So, speaking of which, we can talk about this real quick too. My parents have decided that they want to go on rides this time because the last couple of times they kind of did more people watching and just hanging out in the parks than ride stuff. So we were trying to go back and forth because it is the week before Christmas. It's going to be busy. So they're kind of thinking, do we need Genie Plus? Do we not need Genie Plus? So I gave them homework. So DCA, their must-do rides in DCA are Guardians of the Galaxy.
Not going on that
Radiator
one, probably.
Springs Racers,
Okay.
Midway Mania, and Soarin'. I'm like, okay, we do not need Genie Plus if those are your 4 must-do rides for DCA. So
They said Radiator Springs, you said?
Yep, they said Radiator Springs.
Well, last time we were there, it was closed or down or something because
Mm-hmm.
we didn't ride it the last time.
Yeah.
Okay. And then at Disneyland,
Disneyland, their must-rides were Indiana Jones.
of course.
They have not done Rise of the Resistance, which I
Well,
feel like a
that's-
failure of a daughter because they have been to the parks twice.
Why have they not done this?
I think they're always.
Did they ride Smuggler's
I
Run
think
yet?
they're no. My dad has, my mom hasn't. So
Okay.
Rise of the Resistance, Smuggler's Run, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Do we have
is
2
on
more
there.
people to fill out a cabin?
We've got lots of people. We've got
Okay.
5 other people that we could pull from. So we've got people.
Chewy
5 other
mode.
family members of mine. Yeah. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I talked them into doing Small World Holiday because it's a
Do they
different.
not like
they don't.
Small World?
They're not big Small World fans, but I said you got to do the holiday version because it's different. So
Well, they
said
gotta,
yes.
they gotta do the version where people strip down and
Oh,
run
boy.
around.
Yeah. And then Matterhorn was the other like.
Have they never done the Matterhorn?
They've done the Matterhorn.
Oh, okay.
It's just been my mom doesn't remember the last time they've done the Matterhorn. It's been a really, 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 really long
I feel
time
like
for
I
them.
have to say, do they realize that like it could hurt their back because everybody always complains about how much it hurts their
They're
back?
fine. They're totally
Okay.
fine with it. I said, well, what about space? And my mom's like, we do like that's the one ride we did get to do the last 2 times. So
Ah.
they don't feel quite as
Did you hear that, producer James? They did Space Mountain every time.
so they didn't feel quite as need to do space. They
Sure.
did say, of course, Pirates because it's the classic, and it's been quite some time since they've seen Haunted Mansion Holiday. So
I really like
I think
Haunted
that's
Mansion
a
Holiday.
good list too. I don't think we need to worry about Genie Plus for that either. I think
I
that's very
mean,
doable.
I refuse to spend money on Genie Plus because I think it's a terrible system.
Well, but so for me, if it's like crazy packed day, like, okay, I can understand. And it's the one day you're in that park. Okay, I get it. But yeah, I told them, I said, you rope drop with us. We will get through them. Don't worry.
I don't have the easy calendar access that you do. Okay, I was just trying to figure out like how many days before Christmas were we? So we're kind of in that period where it could be busy or it could not be busy. It's kind of like a
Well,
toss-up.
From what I saw, Magic Key reservations and ticket sales, the first 2 days that were completely booked up for reservations for both calendars were the 18th and 19th, which are the 2 days that were in the parks.
Sure.
I have been sitting and watching yesterday and today the ride times and wait times, and they're not atrocious. So,
Well, that's because we're in that week that people are still in school and all of that.
yep. Oh, yeah, you're right. But anyways, I'm trying
Because
to be
next
helpful.
week, like for me, my school ends on Friday, and I think what's our high school end, James? Is it the 21st? Next Thursday?
Yeah, I was gonna
next
say.
Friday.
I think like high schools and grade schools are probably still in school the first part of that week.
Sure.
Maybe not the later part. For sure, the week in between Christmas and New Year's is probably.
Well,
gonna
yes, that's gonna be madhouse.
be. Yeah. So, anyways, we're looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. I've got to do a better job and be more like Tag and get my list actually physically put together instead of just in my head.
Now, some other quick thing I'd like to mention, and we
Yeah.
don't have to like come to conclusions, but I think because we were talking about trying to come up with ideas for our trips next year,
Oh yeah.
I would really like, you're going to think I'm nuts, and it doesn't count towards a thing, but maybe we want to decide to do something different with our Magic Key next year. Anyway, is I think it would be fun, even though it's insane. I think we should do New Year's in the park one of these times. It doesn't have to be next year, but I think it'd be cool to do New Year's in the park. Like,
Yeah.
ring in the new year at Disneyland. Of
There's-
course, keys are blocked out, so it'd have to be like
Yep,
a
it'd have
ticket
to be a ticket.
situation.
And I think you and I need to get better, and weekly tiers, you can feel free to weigh in on this, but I think we need to get better about doing different things. So
Oh, I totally agree.
don't come at me, but like I love Oogie Boogie Bash, but then I kind of think, yeah, but we've never been to like Lunar New Year or the Gumball Rally or Adventureland Day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like,
I-
as much as I love Oogie Boogie Bash,
Stuff I would
know?
like to do in the future. I'd like to go for like a Dapper Day.
yep.
I think that'd be cool. I'd like to go for one of the gay days in the parks
Yep,
because it's been a
yep.
long time
I've
since
never
I've done
been.
that.
And those are what, August?
October. It's like the
okay.
first weekend in October usually.
Hey, we could do Oogie Boogie Bash.
But
2 for 1.
I would also like to do, like, we've done holidays the last couple of years, so I feel like unless we're doing something like New Year's, which we haven't done, I'd rather not, like, I would not be opposed to an off year for us. And by us, I mean, like, James and I, every other year, we go do the whole trip around the state with his family for Christmas, and that's this year. But, like, again, not making the decision for next year, but just, like, on one of those years. Like, it might be cool to do Disneyland for Christmas, like Christmas Day in the park or something. Like, celebrate a holiday in the park.
Yep.
That's not something that we've done before, that kind of thing. It'd be cool for us. I think we've done this before too, but something if we want to do some type of summertime thing, like it'd be cool to be there on July 17th sometime. Like
we did. That was our first time back at the parks when they reopened post-pandemic.
But it's been a couple years now. And so like a few years down the road again, we can try to do something like that. Again, there's all these after dark nights that are different ones.
Yeah.
Like it'd be cool to maybe attend some of those. The Pride Night thing I think would be really fun.
Know. I feel like we need to figure out what's going on with Sweethearts Night, since that seems to be there's more Sweethearts.
The only reason that I'm hesitant with Sweethearts Night is because we already have the PhotoPass photographers trying to always put us in a couple.
No, I'm trying to figure out like what it's like. Sweethearts Night has more dates than Star Wars nights.
They're the same. They're 8.
Oh,
this year.
It felt like more.
It does look like that.
What I mean? Like, it's
very popular.
I want to know what the deal is with Sweethearts Night, and I think Sweethearts Night would probably just be a little bit different because it's aimed more towards, I'd say, like adults, obviously probably couples. But so I think
your little kids aren't going to be there.
So I think it'd just be a different feel, a different vibe in the park because it's mainly adults.
Yeah, but I agree with you on the other stuff. Pinball or Gumball Rally would be really cool. Like I said, Dapper Days. What else did you say?
Lunar New Year. Yeah,
all of that stuff I think would be really fun. We've really hit the fall season hard.
We love the fall season.
So we probably should try to hit the spring season a little harder.
Might not be in the cards for this next year, but perhaps 2025.
Our listeners probably aren't going to care that much about this, but maybe they will. So just so you're aware, we're at work, we're looking at schedules. With our transition to our different scheduling at work now, there is a high possibility that I will have a lot of flexibility September and the first part of October.
That's not helpful with our trying to do the spring stuff.
but I'm saying like previously I've been busy like the whole time, but I might have time there, and there might be a possibility to have more time also in the first part of the year, like January and the first part of February, because of the way our scheduling is working now.
That's better because that's then Lunar New Year.
Yeah. Valentine's Day in the park would be maybe be kind of cool, something like that, which I guess would be a Sweethearts Night thing probably. Yeah, so there's all different times that we haven't been. We should probably do more research of what events, what's happening at the parks, and try to be like, okay, what do we want to try to hit? Because we've talked about a lot of these for a long time.
Yeah. You know what I think I'm going to try and do is build a calendar, and maybe it'll be something that we'll have like open for like in Discord or something. So if weekly tiers want to take a look at it, they can. But I almost want to build out a calendar to say, okay, this is when we know when all the Disney specific events are, but what about throwing like where Dapper Days falls in, where the Mice Chat Gumball Rally falls in, Adventureland Day, all those other kind of gay days, where do all those non-Disney, those unofficial things fall in, or even events like Disneyana, like where do it's an event that's Disney, but it's not specifically at the parks.
Yeah, they're not doing it. Yeah.
Yep. So,
Northwest Mouse Meet.
Yeah, the Mouse Meet. All those
we
things.
should put a page on our website calendar or something that talks about like the next time some of these things are happening, and then we could even update and say like, like unannounced for if they haven't announced a date or something. That would be cool.
I think that'd be fun because I think it's I always forget about some of these things until it's like it feels, it's just around the corner, so we can't plan to come from the Midwest all the way out to do, whatever this cool thing is.
Yeah.
So
that would be a cool thing to have and help people plan stuff. And maybe that's also where we could put, when we have planned trips or something, we can put that on there so people have, if they miss it in the episode, they can go and be like, when was that again?
So for those of you that don't know, Instagram, I have that in our Instagram every time that we've got stuff planned ahead. So I'm really sad because right now our Instagram just says this weekend's trip, and we sadly don't have the next trip planned yet. It's in the works, but that is on Instagram. So if you go to our Instagram page, I always try and keep it up to date. So like the Dreaming Tree Gala and Marceline those dates were on there. And same thing with like Disneyana and Oogie Boogie Bash, all that stuff. I try and keep it updated so then people know when we're going to be in the parks next or what our next event is and all that fun.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm finally in the mood for the holidays, Teresa.
You're in the holiday spirit? Good.
I will find out until you go to get in your, like, it's early in the morning and you go to get in your candy cane line. I'm like, humbug, because that's just very me. That's on brand for me. So yeah. So hopefully we'll see some of you guys at the meetup.
Yep, the meetup on Saturday the 16th. Excited about that. I'm so excited. Even if I feel like this meetup is a little last minute planned for us even. So even if we don't get huge attendance, that's okay, because we're just really excited to go hang out in the new space, check it out, and there's going to be all sorts of different entertainment going on the stage too, which will be fun to enjoy.
I'm excited to just see the space.
I'm also really excited. We haven't talked about this much, but we are going to Waltz Barn on this Sunday, the 17th, for one of their events. So the Waltz Barn is open the third Sunday of every month, and it just so happened to fall during our trip, which was like perfect timing. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. So if you want to see Waltz Barn, Sunday the 17th. This coming Sunday.
They're open 11 to 3.
Cool.
Looks like we're coming in for a landing, gang. But please stay listening until trivia comes to a stop. And then you can walk to the nearest exit. Thanks for listening to the 8th wonder of the world, DLWeekly.
Hello and welcome back to Trivia Land. I had fun being mean this week.
Suddenly our hero has turned to villain.
Apparently so. I needed to up the thrill so people will remember to come to Trivia Land when Snack Zone shows up. So let's dig into the questions so you can get the answers that you've been dying for. First one, what is the longest running holiday parade at Disneyland? And you added the bonus part of this of when did it start? The correct answer is your answer, A Christmas Fantasy. It has been running for 28 years, meaning it started in 1995.
Your excitement startled me. I was staring at the thing and you jumped and I was like, what?
I'm sorry. These random nuggets, they just, they come out of nowhere.
Good job, Teresa.
Thank you.
Just sticks there. It's great.
But I'm glad to be validated that the Christmas Fantasy Parade has been going for ever.
28 years.
Long time. All right, our second question was a cast member costume. In short, there's a masculine and feminine version, black shoes, some sort of khaki bottom, a top that has some flair to it. Teresa, you actually said it out loud, but you didn't go with it. It's the Grand Californian Front Desk.
Story of my life.
She pulled it up when you were asking the next question.
I didn't even mean to. I put in Disneyland Hotel uniform, and the Grand California one came up, and I looked at Tag. I'm like, dang it. So I still don't remember what the Disneyland Hotel uniform looks like at this moment in time.
Yep.
Because, of course, that's the one I really wanted to see. But, yeah.
Costume is the
You think
correct term.
Costume.
Yeah, because they're on stage. They're cast members.
I know, but I wasn't sure if, like, that. See, Google doesn't care. Google's still showing me the same things. That's not it. Anyways.
All right, James.
Yes, so great outfits. Love that. Don't see them nearly enough. But I thought the black dress shoes might give that one away, that it wasn't necessarily somewhere in the park. But anyway, moving on. Question number 3. How many scuba divers does Disney employ? Based on the 2 numbers I found from 2011, 2017, give or take. You said like 3 and 7. The correct answer that I found is somewhere between like 54 and 60.
Ooh, whoa. Really?
That's a lot of scuba divers.
If you think about all the maintenance they might have to do for like Jungle Cruise and Nemo.
Yeah, but we were watching that. I watched that behind the scenes thing. I don't remember if it was like the day, what was it, One Day at Disney, or if it was what it was, but there was a behind the scenes thing, and it seemed like he just kind of rotated. So I figured the small department kind of took care of. Wow, I would not have thought that.
Yep, those are the numbers I found. So yeah, I thought it was wild, let alone that they employed just people to be like scuba people. And no, there's a ton of them.
Wow.
Teresa, out of curiosity, do you remember what hotel room you were in?
I know.
Disneyland
No,
Hotel?
I watched that video of the Tim Tracker and I was like, are they in the same room as me?
Did you check the room number?
I don't know. They're on floor 2, right?
Floor 6.
I don't know. I'd have to
Tower
look
2,
at my,
floor 6.
I'd have to. Okay, continue on. And
Anyway,
it's probably
sorry.
in an email somewhere.
You are just living up to not paying attention to James giving answers.
Yes, he is.
I heard what you said about all the scuba divers. There's a lot of scuba divers.
We're still stuck on trying to figure out what the Disneyland Hotel costume looks like, if you're wondering where that came from.
I was wondering.
Yeah,
because
I a Tim Tracker video of them.
Well,
at the Disneyland Hotel
I put into
scrubbing through
YouTube,
it.
checking into Disneyland Hotel, thinking like somebody will have videoed it, and we could get the costume because Teresa was not having any luck
Just Google
looking for the costume. So I was like, well, somebody made a video of them checking in or something. So there's got to be
Someone must show us what the
something.
cast number looks like. They're all being polite and not showing the
Here
cast
we go.
numbers.
All right, our last question of the week.
You're like, thank goodness we don't have another Trivia Land till next year.
right? Just keep on being ignored.
Okay, last question.
It's okay.
I mean, we know you
Look,
love
We went back to the Winnie the Pooh stuff.
Winnie the Pooh.
According to the LA Times in 2017, for the first 6 months of that year, what was the average wait time for the park's most popular rides? My hint for you was Space Mountain was the longest at just over an hour. So, Teresa, you guessing an hour was wild with that hint.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was listening enough to know that was crazy.
The correct answer was 24.4 minutes.
Wow. See, but I was thinking of all the times it felt to me like in 2017, we frequently saw 90, like over an hour wait times. So I was thinking, because, right, we didn't have the same capacity things that we currently have now. And
Sure.
now an hour is kind of on the longer side, quote unquote, longer side of what you see.
Sure.
So that's why I was going that route. 24 minutes. I would not have thought that.
I mean, I probably should have, because you said average, so I probably should have known that it wasn't that high. Because if you think about it, like
opening
because it
and
would have to have a
close.
lot of that. So apparently they just wear a suit.
Just got you to overthink it. You went high for wait times and low for scuba divers.
Well, but okay. So if we think about scuba divers, okay, how many did you say was total about or a range?
The two numbers I found were 54 and 60.
Okay,
Yeah.
because the thought is, what do? They've got the sub lagoon, they've got the World of Color lagoon,
They got the Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise, Rivers of America.
I don't think that there's scuba diving on like Grizzly
That's
River
4.
Run.
Yeah,
They might
Or,
have to
like,
get rid of some of the debris.
I don't know.
so that's 4 waterways,
Yep.
right? Is there any more? I don't think so.
Not any big enough that you need a scuba diver for.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
So
I'm like, this is wild.
if
Like,
anybody's listening
this is just crazy to me.
and knows about the scuba diving
We
team at
need to know
Disneyland,
more.
yes.
Yes, because of course now you're making me doubt it. I'm like, gosh, well, I'm wondering, like, do they like do both parks? Because like the lagoon in Disney World would probably take people too, and so if they're just trained across places to travel here,
Yeah,
and
but
there
they
or
wouldn't
whatever,
ship
that
a
would be-
person across the country if
I
they
could
needed a
see
scuba
Walt
diver.
Disney World needing more
You know what though?
scuba divers.
When they had that every role is starring role, I'm guessing there was more than one scuba diver that night that went down and like they went out because they have to inspect the
50
track and all of that.
plus, I don't. Yeah.
But you got to think about like what happens when like one or two of them, like what happens if they're sick or they're out on vacation or they
still.
do this 7 days a week. So
50 just seems. I don't know.
Wonder if they're kind of part timers too, since it is kind of niche, and so if they have other
knows?
roles in
Or-
places.
or maybe they don't just do scuba diving. Maybe this is just the people who are scuba certified that are on their team.
Oh,
that
I
could
like
be.
that idea.
Because does that also count like Imagineers that have to go do stuff?
That would
Because there's like the
sense.
maintenance team, but then
That's a
is there
good
also
point, yeah.
Imagineers?
Maybe.
I love that we're logicking this into reality.
I could see World though because right, you've got the whole
Well, World, I can see a
ocean
huge
pavilion in
yeah,
Epcot. Just how many do you have for that alone?
yeah.
Well, I never promised to always be correct, so it very well could be wrong. But who knows? We'll find out if you know that, or if you have other trivia questions that you think we should ask in 2024. Our email is trivia@dlweekly.net.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
And thank you to our editor, Sidell.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us. And we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.